Sure is a beautiful sunrise this morning. Yeah, my wife Lois and I were away a couple days here again. We had to go out to some meetings in Indiana. It's about, I don't know, 9 and a half hours away. Before we left, we had almost 30 springers in here. Well, actually we sold a few springing heifers, so yeah. But I think they had 8 or 10 calves born while we were gone, and there's another, there's probably 5 or 6 more in here that could calve about any time. So yeah, hopefully it'll slow down a little bit after that. Yeah, I need to check my dry cows here. We'll probably need to get a few more springers over here too. We usually get springers over about once a week. So yeah, there's several in here that won't be too long till they freshen. Yeah, I should say this yet too. I'm glad it had warmed up a little bit from what it was the week before. I'm glad we didn't go away the week it was really, really cold. But so yeah, everything went well for them while we were gone. They didn't have much of any trouble, so we're thankful for that. Yeah, we had on a video last fall about our grain drill needing some work done to it, and then we ended up finding that bigger one. 30-foot air seeder. So our older one, we had a little work we needed to do to it. We're planning to sell it here this spring. And so the last couple weeks, my son Willie's been doing some stuff to it. This is the one. We took the two, they're kind of gang mounted on 2 different tubings. There's a big tubing here, probably about a 4-inch tubing they mount on. There's 2 different sets of them. The other one, he had that one all done. And I was away a couple days, just got home here today. Looks like he's pretty much done with this one as well. There's some pieces here he needed to replace. If you look here, I think you should be able to tell it right in here. You can tell it's worn some. That was all supposed to be straight down both sides of that. Yeah, you can tell how it wore in there some. So he's replacing all them. And these pieces right here is what you set the depth of how deep your seed is getting planted. There was a couple of them that were cracked. So yeah, we're going to take it to sale here. It should be field ready when we sell it. Our shop does need a good cleaning job here again. With all the work we've been doing in here, needs swept up and cleaned out. But anyhow, yeah. I think that sale that we're planning to sell it at is here in about 4 weeks. So we'll try to get these all mounted back on. Shouldn't take a whole lot to get them mounted back on, and then we'll clean it up, wash it up good, and be ready to take it to the sale. Yeah, we got these disc openers back on our drill. We did that yesterday, and last 2 days were pretty nice here. Monday actually got up in the almost 50 degrees, nice sunny afternoon. Then yesterday was probably in the 40s, a little more breezy yesterday, but now today it got colder again. They're talking about some sleet and freezing rain here tonight, so we'll see what we get. But yeah, I wanted to take a video of putting these back on, and I completely forgot about it. But yeah, we sat them out in front of the drill, like the whole unit there that we had off, like the whole gang mounted openers. There's 2 sets of them on the drill, which you can see that here. There's one set back here, and then this set up here. So yeah, we set the whole thing out in the front, or the whole row unit out in the front. Then we put a chain around the hits right about there, right in front of the tires, and used our loader tractor and picked it up and just slowly pulled forward and then set it down about where we needed to mount it at. And the one we had a little bit of an issue getting it all lined up straight. Actually, it was more it mounts at both ends, and then right here in the center it connects there. And the back one, we had some issues getting that all figured out and lined up straight. But yeah, so it took us a little longer than what we thought, but we got it all done. So yeah, we still gotta we're running out of time, but we still got to connect all these flex hoses back up and power wash it and clean it all up. And we're planning to sell it here at a sale here in about 2 weeks, but it should be field ready. We went over it good. We're gonna replace a couple chains and do a few other things to it, but everything should be field ready whenever we sell it. So glad we got that done. Yeah, they talked about a chance of wintry mix overnight, and luckily more of it came as sleet than freezing rain. Yeah, it don't look like there's a whole lot of anything like on the trees or the wires, or very, very little. So yeah, I'm thankful we didn't get a lot of freezing rain. They are saying a couple hours this morning yet, chance of something, but yeah, I'd say we got, I don't know, 3/4 of an inch to an inch of kind of a sleet. It might even be a little bit of snow mixed in with it, but mostly sleet probably. So yeah, it's Thursday morning. I need to do the feeding here, so we'll see how that goes. Yeah, I'm inside my mixer here again this morning. The lighting isn't all that good, but I needed to, or it's still dark outside. There's a light here, but I need to order new knives for our mixer. Our mixer has 4 knives on each rotor, and I need to get a measurement. They have a couple different sizes. I think I know the size of ours, but I just wanted to double check them. Yeah, it's 21 1/4 inches. That's what I was thinking, but yeah. Whenever you have them in your mixer for quite a while, if you look back here, this is kind of how they're supposed to look. More, it's still pretty sharp there, but the farther out you come, the more worn they get. And when you get clear out here on the end, yeah, it's not very sharp at all there, and really getting worn down. The lower ones tend to get more wear. I don't know if we can see this in here. It's over on, yeah, there you can see it. It's really dull back about half the way. Still got a little bit of sharpness to it, but yeah, it just gets worn really, really dull. Now back here at the back part, or where it's near the screw, yeah, it's still really sharp there. You wouldn't want to touch that much, or you'd slice yourself pretty quick. But out here at the end, where more of we're losing a lot of the cutting edge. Yeah, we're getting some corn distillers and minerals for the dry cows. In the winter time, we feed the dry cows every other day and then just keep it pushed up. So yeah, and then in the summer when it's hotter out, we just feed them once a day. Yeah, I think I mentioned about this before, but for our dry cows, we put a half a round bale of fodder, corn fodder in, that we baled when it's wet, and then we put about probably 400 pound of 300 pound probably of a first cutting grass hay in their TMR, and there you can see a little bit of sleet on that. So yeah, it didn't do enough to make that much difference, but yeah, it's kind of nice. We put it right here at the face of the one trench, and then we can scoop it right up with the bucket and feed it that way. I mentioned about feeding them for 2 days, our dry cows. The way we do it is we feed them, like this morning is Thursday morning, and we feed them this morning, and then we don't push it up at all till tomorrow morning. So we'll push it up tomorrow morning and then push it up tomorrow afternoon, and then Saturday morning, anything that's left we shove out and feed them fresh. And we can get by pretty good with that as long as it stays below 45 degrees probably. And once it starts getting above 45 degrees, then we kind of, especially if it's damp, or like if you get in the spring here, if you get a real damp, dreary weather, it'll start heating up. Other than that, it don't really heat up much. I'm feeding with our bigger loader tractor here this morning, and it's got extra work lights. So it's really bright. We had a little trouble with this tractor here probably the last 2 or 3 weeks. The battery kept going dead, and we couldn't figure out what in the world was going on with it. And we put the jump pack on it, and it'd fire it right back up. And if you'd come to start it an hour or so later, it would start, but till it sat overnight or during the day till the next feeding, it was dead. And we couldn't figure out what in the world was draining or why the battery was draining. We had put a new battery on it back a couple months ago, and finally we had a local independent repairman come and look at it. That we get to do some of most of our repair work that we can't do. And he messed with it, and he figured out it was drawing amps down at a sensor down on the transmission. And first he thought, well, there was something wrong down there, and he was talking about ordering it, but the part, whatever it was, I forget what it was even called, was gonna cost like $2,500. And he's like, well, he wanted to check a few more things out that he didn't want stuck with it if that wasn't the problem, and we didn't want stuck with it if that wasn't the problem. So yeah, to make a long story short, he kept messing with it. Well, here our 4-way switch was left on, and the 4-ways weren't working on the tractor. We knew that for the past month or so, which we don't run on the road a whole lot in the winter, so we weren't too concerned about it. Actually, kind of forgot about it. And here the 4-way switch was on, and being they weren't working, didn't realize that the switch was left on. But anyhow, to make a long story short, it was somehow through that was drawing amps down at that sensor piece down there on the transmission and making the battery go dead. So anyhow, it needed I think it was a new relay maybe in the fuse box, I think it was called, for the 4-ways. And yeah, took care of that, and that's the whole problem. So I think we all learned something out of that one, even him. He's like, man, now the next time I got anything like that, I'll know what to do. So anyhow, there's always freak things like that happen. You just don't know what's going on at first, but once you figure it out, you can go from there. So the independent repair guy that we have would have worked for a Case IH dealer probably several years. He quit and went on his own probably 4 or 5 years ago now. We had another man we did independent repairs for years, and he was getting a couple years from retirement age, and he got offered a job at a local New Holland dealership as their service manager. So he decided he was going to go do that the last couple years. He had worked for them years ago, maybe soon after he was out of high school, I think, for 10 or 12 years. And I think he had worked for John Deere as well, a John Deere dealership, and then went on his own independently. And he decided to go back and finish out his last couple years before retirement as their service manager. And so yeah, anyhow, he always did well for us too, but now this younger, newer guy is more into the computer end of tractors. All these newer tractors got all these computers and electronics, and you name it, it's got safety switches and all kinds of switches everywhere you look. And some of that's good, but and it's all good when it works, but when you have problems, that can be an issue. Our dry cow ration consists of corn silage, triticale silage, and Sudex silage. and then that corn fodder and some dry hay. We do feed them a round bale of bale wrapped hay, one bale every other day, and a hay feeder as well. So the total mix here we put in the TMR is about 9,500 pounds. Oh yeah, I did mention a little bit there in the feed room, but also we put corn distillers and mineral in as well. And then they have free choice whey to drink. So there's usually between 100 and 110 head over here with our dry cows and closer bred heifers. The bred heifers go in there when they're bred about 4 to 5 months, give or take a little. For the dry cows and heifers, the milk cows, we have certain pounds of different ingredients that we mix in, and which we try to keep that pretty precise. The dry cows, we kind of figure more by a scoop. It makes it a lot easier. I mean, our total pounds, we end up getting the same, but we figure like the Sudex, I put in 2 bucketfuls, loader bucketfuls of Sudex. And we're putting 1 in of corn silage. I already put the dry hay and the corn fodder in first so it gets chewed up. And then, yeah, we'll put 1 scoop of corn silage and then finish up a little bit more triticale silage. There wasn't quite enough silage shaved there on the face of the corn silage trench for today, so if you see me scooping some up there off the face, that's why I did that this morning. That don't happen real often, but once in a while it does. There you can see the scales. Again, our windshield's a little bit dirty outside, but got right there at 9,900 pounds. On a morning like this morning, where that little bit of sleet is mixed in with it, we'll add a little bit extra, or if we kind of learned over the years too, if we have some rain, if it's just a brief shower, we don't worry too much about it. But if we get a lot of rain where it's going to add weight, we kind of compensate for that as well. We have some straw here that we feed in our TMR. We don't put a lot in. The heifers and dry cows, we don't put any in there since they're getting that fodder and grass hay. But the milk cows, we put 3 slices in each mix. Yeah, so there again, like I said, it's not a lot, but it's probably would be about half a pound of straw per cow per day is what it would amount to. So. These Pat's mixers do a really good job. We put the corn distillers and mineral in first, then we put the corn fodder and dry hay in next, and then all the silages. We had the mixer running fairly fast the whole time. The tractor wasn't revved quite wide open, but probably 2,000, 2,100 RPMs. And yeah, once we got done dumping everything in, left it mix maybe 2-3 minutes, if even that. And yeah, it chews everything all up. Everything's all mixed together. Here you can see some pieces of the dry hay, some of that longer stem stuff in there, but the corn fodder, yeah, it chews it all up. Might be a few longer pieces of fodder. There's one that's a little bit longer yet, but it's all like crumpled up, so it's not like, yeah. They do a really, really good job. Yeah, there earlier I was saying about having the sleet overnight. It had pretty much quit there for a little bit, but now it's turned all rain. It's raining, so I don't know. I'm kind of glad we got some sleet on the ground that won't get so slick then if the ice gets on top of that. So yeah, I think they're saying by mid-morning it's supposed to warm up enough that it'll turn to just all rain to finish out. So, and at the end of the day, I think they're saying upper 30s. And then tomorrow, I think, it's supposed to get pretty warm again and then get back down more seasonal after that. So, yeah, I don't like dealing with wintry weather, but I will have to say one thing. If you got a little snow on the ground, it makes everything look pretty. Everything don't get so brown and dreary. And yeah, if you have a winter that has no snow, which some people don't ever get much snow, but yeah, it just everything looks brown and muddy, especially if it stays warm. In our area, it just gets kind of sloppy and everything just looks dreary. So, but hey, every year's different and God's in control of the weather. I'm thankful for that, but it is nice if you have a couple weeks with snow on the ground to make things look a lot brighter and a lot prettier. This is the ag bag of that triticale that we direct cut into doe stage. And we are feeding just a little bit of that to the milk cows. And I think we got about enough left here for close to 2 months. It's going to run out a little bit before we get new probably, but not too much. We've got plenty of other triticale. Yeah. We're going to switch some things around with our trenches here this year. We're running out of space for silage. We've been slowly growing our herd numbers, and we have 3 trenches here in a row. We have 4 trenches total. Trenches in a row. The one's 24 feet wide and the other 2 are 18 feet wide. And back when we put these in, we were milking somewhere around 180 to 200 cows, and we made them 2 18-footers. And they're 225 feet long. But we made those 2 18-footers to put our 2 different stages of triticale in. What we chop in the boot stage, and then what we would have chopped after it's headed out. And then the wider trench, the 24-foot wide trench, we put corn silage in. And we're running into trouble that we don't have enough room for corn silage or triticale, either one. So, well, I'm over here at my other trench, the 4th trench. We used to years ago call this our overflow trench, where we would just put some in it if we had something extra or needed to. Some years on a drier year, every now and then we wouldn't have much in it, and then some years where we had a better year. But since we're milking more cows, yeah, everything is getting stacked full and overflowing. And so yeah, we're gonna the 24-foot trench, we're gonna switch over and put our boot stage triticale in, which that'll be chopped before it heads out. Get a little more higher protein feed for the milk cows. And then the edge wall on the other side, on the 1 18-foot trench, we have a lane up along the side of it there where we have most years have laid an ag bag there. That's where that doe stage triticale is. I'll pull over here after I dump this and try to show that a little bit, but we're gonna move that wall over probably 12 to 14 feet and try to get it 30 or 32 foot wide for corn silage. So basically now we put it in a 24-foot trench, and I think we usually figure somewhere around 1,300 ton in that 24-foot trench. So we're hoping to widen it out enough to get close to 1,800 to 2,000 tons of corn silage. But there you can see to the right there where that lane goes up along the side, that's where I would have went and fed out of that ag bag. So yeah, we're gonna basically just move this wall over and pour the floor wider. Shouldn't take a whole lot. We won't have room to put an ag bag up along there unless we put another lane up along the side, but I don't know that that's our plan at this point, but we'll see how it all works out and go from there.
I'm feeding calves this morning, and I just fed this pen, so they're all drinking. We use these milk bar feeders and put the milk in there, and then the calves drink off of them. We put 4 calves in a pen, and these are waiting on their milk. These are just about weaned, so they'll be moving out soon. And then I fed these already. So they're almost done drinking their milk. But anyways, I need to feed the rest of them down here. These calves are all younger, so they all have coats on. And yeah, it keeps them a little warmer. They're all waiting on their milk. I'm like, where's breakfast? And then the ones over there in the stalls, they're ones that are only a couple days old. And we always put them in there and feed them bottles and then move them over here. Anyhow, they're all getting impatient. Yeah, we have 2 in this stall. They were a little smaller, and so we put them in this stall. And here's a line back, and here's one of these gray ones. If you notice, see its hair, the white is way fluffier and the gray is like short and curly. Anyhow, we have a couple cows like that. And here's a red lineback. There's a red and white one and a black and white one. So anyways, I gotta mix up the milk and get them fed. What are you doing, Teddy?
Yeah, we always talk about it pouring down rain, but it's not very often when you talk about it pouring down sleet. It's like, yeah, it's just like dumping down sleet.
Watch the faces, it hits the faces.
You know, it's Friday morning here. We're just finishing up milking. We got the last cows in here, and this morning we milked, I'm not sure if it's the most we've ever milked, but it's right up there against it. I think we milked 310 this morning. We had a lot of cows and heifers fresh here the last 10 days, and Friday morning is usually when we dry cows up, so we're drying up some this morning. I think we dried up 7, and I think we have another 5 or 6 that we'll dry up next week. So yeah, we started a few minutes early, as we know it would take a little longer with all the fresh cows and drying the cows up, and we're getting done about the same time as normal, so that's good.
We have all these goats, and then we have her. I don't know if she's sticking around that, but every now and then, if the dogs come in here, every now and then the goats will decide to thump them, but for some reason, these guys are so jealous out here. They're like, just let us in. They like to be in with the goats. I'm not sure why, but that's what they do. Where'd you go, Daisy? She's getting a drink of water. I guess their water tastes better than her water.